I'm Patrick Stone with the Technical Support Branch. Today I want to talk a little bit about annotating station and offsets in OpenRoads Designer. First thing I want to do is point out our website here. If you go to our CAD Standards web page, you can send any of your questions to the CAD support at ky.gov. We'll have our latest version of OpenRoads Designer that we're running listed on here as well, and MicroStation. So if you've got any questions, you're always welcome to email us directly, but this hits a broader audience and you'll probably get an answer quicker if you send it to this email address. I also want to point out for this demonstration, I'm using 2020 Release 2, Update 8, version 10.08.01.33, which is probably a version newer than what you're using currently. And the workflow I'm about to show works fine in this version. We'll revise the workflows as things change with upcoming versions. One of the first things I want to point out is that we're still recommended putting your annotation in the drawing model. We've got a design model, then we got the drawing model where we're putting our annotation, and then we have a sheet model which we're printing from. We're going to do most of our work right here in the drawing model. We're going to do all of our work here because we're going to place this annotation in here. One of the things I want to point out is that these notes work very similar to their actual labels. These work very similar to the old drafting notes you're used to. The one thing they don't do is they don't set the level. So, and as you can see, we have multiple labels in here. I mean, there's quite a few labels in here. And we've put this in the cell library and we've put an underscore in front of it so they'll go to the top of the list. Now we're going to start off and we're going to work with the existing. We're going to place an existing station offset, a proposed station offset, and a temporary easement station offset. Now the only difference between the temporary easement offset and the proposed right-of-way station offset is the level. Now there is a difference with the existing right-of-way station offset because in that cell it has a different font in it, so we can get the slanted font. So I wanted to point that out to you, but it's very important to make sure that you have your element template association enabled and you set it to the right one. And the way these are set is, I've used the existing station offset, so it's up here under my recent templates. But if it wasn't, you'll come in here and go to roadway, and then we're going to pick the existing plan, and we're going to use the existing right-of-way station offset text. And I use the text one so we don't have any lines. If you have a dash line style or anything in these, then that could potentially show up there. We've got our element set. We're going to come in here and we've only got two of these, with arrow and without, because some of the notes need an arrow. This particular one does not need one. So we'll pick it and follow your prompts. You're going to pick your alignment, then we're going to come down here and place these station offsets wherever they're going to be legible at for you. I know we've got a curve starting here. Put it here, then we'll put the last one. I might stick it out here, and I'll show you at the end of the presentation how you can move these. They're pretty easy to move. But now we're ready to do the proposed right-of-way part of this. So first thing we're going to do is select the proposed cell, because this is the existing one. Come down here, and this is proposed right-of-way station offset. Now we need to come up here and select the proper element template. We're in the proposed features, proposed right-of-way, plan. Going to go to text, proposed right-of-way station and offsets. You use either one of these, they're basically the same. Then we'll come in here, snap to the point. Well, snap to that point and go in through here and put these in. Now I think this particular workflow gives you the best control over where these are going. And then the only difference between, like I said earlier, the proposed right of way and the temporary easement is the level. But we also have one set up for easement. And this is so if you want to turn them off, a little easier to turn them off. So then we'd go in here and pick the easement plus an offset. And let's see. And that should work. And that's just so we can turn it all off later. You could use the right away one and be just fine. Now, what I want to show you is if you actually had to move one of these or some kind of conflict, you can simply use the MicroStation commands under drawing, move, and you've got to pick, this is all part of the cell, and then this is just a leader from it. So you can just simply move those around. So they're not any trouble to move. Existing ones work the same way. One thing that I wanted to point out too is I had left this feature on here. It's actually a geometry and it's on a working level, so it won't plot. I just found it easier to snap to those as we went around. So at this point, if you wanted to, you could just go in and turn that one off before you do your final plot, and then you've got the correct symbologies. We'd need to turn this one off too. Then everything looks the way as it should for the CAD standards. And when we switch over to our sheet model for plotting, you'll have all your station and offsets there as you detailed them earlier. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions about this, please don't hesitate to email us on the email address I showed you before, or you can directly email me. And this is going to be part 1 of 2. We've also got a under KYTC, we've got a stopgap under that Bentley provided for right-of-way station and what this does is a batch station and offset. And I'll make a part 2 of this video and show how this works, the steps for creating that, so you can do multiple parcels. So thanks, and look for part 2.